Invited by Duke Ludovico Sforza, a young Leonardo da Vinci arrived in Milan at the age of 30. As the court artist at the Duke's castle, he wore many hats: military engineer, architect, and a skilled painter. Among his many projects, da Vinci also worked for several of Milan's churches. One of his most notable works, The Virgin of the Rocks, was commissioned by the Confraternity of the Immaculate Conception for their chapel in San Francesco Grande Church. Painted between 1483 and 1486, the piece was ultimately rejected by the Confraternity. They felt that there was too much emphasis on John the Baptist. So, what message is Leonardo conveying in this masterpiece? Let's delve deeper into the meanings and symbolism behind the Virgin of the Rocks. A plant or a flower near each character gives its quality. Near Jesus, a white violet represents his innocence, and near Mary, a purple violet for her protection. Raphael, the archangel of wisdom, can be identified by the red lily in the background. Near John the Baptist, a white carnation indicates passion. Above him, a palm to praise his force and adaptability. The boxwood, John the Baptist's emblematic plant, starts from his feet, growing all the way above the rocks. The Greek letters Alpha and Omega, mentioned by John the theologian in the book of Revelation, represent completeness, the beginning and the end, the all-encompassing from start to finish, the first and the last. In this painting, it also takes the meaning of the ancient and the modern. Letters Alpha and Omega are hidden in plain sight in two places with upper and lower case omega. Similar use of Alpha and Omega to designate Jesus and John the Baptist can be seen in another of his paintings dating 1475. The Baptism of Christ by Andrea Verrocchio and his student Leonardo da Vinci depicts the moment of the baptism of Jesus Christ by John the Baptist. It shows many similarities with the Virgin of the Rocks. The palm tree on the left, the two young versions of Jesus and John the Baptist, as well as the Alpha and Omega together on the upper right side, towards which the spiritual messenger, a falcon, similar to the archangel Raphael, is heading. As the painting's name implies, the rocks are major subjects in The Virgin of the Rocks. The weird anfractuosities, a hole in the rocks and their unnatural shapes, indicate a different purpose intended by the artist. Indeed, these rocks are buildings. Compared with Giovanni Francesco Lampugnani Milan's townscape realized in 1640, the shapes of the rocks take their meaning, from right to left. San Lorenzo Maggiore, dating to the 4th century AD, renovated during da Vinci's stay in Milan. Santa Maria delle Grazie, in which refectory da Vinci later painted The Last Supper. Sforza's castle, with its huge flag, and the college. Finally, Il Duomo, symbol of modernity. Leonardo da Vinci sketched these buildings in the Codex Atlanticus. In this remarkable painting, Leonardo da Vinci makes a bold statement. Here, John the Baptist incarnates modernity. His emblematic plant, the boxwood, raises above the iconic Il Duomo, symbolizing the Omega, the achievement. The figures of Jesus and Mary are anchored in the ancient style, represented by the Church of Santa Maria delle Grazie. This is the Alpha. Between these two significant structures lies the college and the Sforza castle, recognizable by the flag, underscoring the vital roles of education and engineering, alongside patronage in shaping modern skills. On the right side, renovated with Sforza's sponsorship, the San Lorenzo Basilica epitomizes the ideal blend of classic and modern. It is the Alpha and Omega above the Archangel Raphael.
This first version of the Virgin of the Rocks was rejected by the Confraternity for its heterodoxy, prompting da Vinci to create another painting. In the second version, the archangel no longer points at the child on Mary's left side, but instead that child holds a ribbon that bears the letter A. In this second rendition, most of the plants are different. The white lily symbolizes the immaculate nature of Mary and the virginal conception of Christ. The rose, for the admiration and respect of Mary for the child on her right. The daffodil represents renewal. The white violet symbolizes purity and is the attribute of Jesus in the first version. A smaller palm is above the child on Mary's right side. In this version, the boxwood grows from the child on Mary's left side, creeping with a vine to the rocks. Jesus and John the Baptist are switched. The alpha on the ribbon refers to Jesus. The letter omega is formed by the halo and once again by the Archangel Raphael's hand referring to John the Baptist. The second version was delivered in 1508, 25 years after the first one was refused. A recent X-ray study shows that Leonardo da Vinci sketched a different drawing showing Mary and an angel turned towards a single child. Was he Jesus or John the Baptist? Da Vinci may have reached a compromise by removing the archangel's pointing finger to be able to make an almost exact copy, although less precise and with a major difference, of his first version. He was clever enough to add the gilded cross, the usual attribute of John the Baptist, to the child on Mary's right side to fool the confraternity. The Virgin of the Rocks represents a seated Madonna with two children, such as a mother holding the city of Milan above her head like a crown. This image, as it was often the case in the art of the Renaissance, is reminiscent of the classical times. Mary is represented as the Anatolian goddess of nature and fertility, Cybele, which became the Roman Magna Mater and the protector of the city. The violet, Kybelion in Greek, near Mary and Jesus, is another indication that Da Vinci intended to compare them to Cybele and Attis. The second version of the Virgin of the Rocks is now on display at the National Gallery in London. Meanwhile, the original masterpiece is in the Louvre Museum in Paris after its acquisition in 1880, where it continues to enchant visitors to this day.